We have with us Mr. Arun Gupta, who is a retired professor from NID Ahmadabad. He is also an author and he is also a filmmaker. So today we are going to interview him. Thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you so much. So I would like to ask you a question. First of all, how did you thought that filmmaking is your, it should be your career, go-to career? What made you pursue filmmaking?
I was interested in stories always, and initially I was interested in journalistic activities. So initially I started with wanting to be a print journalist, and that's how I started learning English literature in Delhi University. But while studying literature, I got fascinated by cinema. And Delhi has a lot of these cultural centers from all over the world. And since I was a Fakkar student, I didn't have the money to go to cinema halls. I used to visit these cultural centers and see the films which they showed once in a week or twice in a week. And that's how I got interested in cinema, and cinema of a different kind. And yeah,
Okay.
that's how I did.
So following up with that question, I would like to ask you, how do you think cinema has evolved from traditional times to current scenario? How it has evolved?
Cinema has evolved principally because the way the audience now consumes cinema has changed. You know, the single screen cinema halls no longer exist.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of film material which is being made is meant for distribution over the internet. And in fact, a lot of moving image work today is getting done on a mobile phone itself, in Instagram and in Facebook and in Twitter. So therefore, since the means of reaching the audience has changed and the means of production has changed, just as you are producing this on a mobile,
Yes.
on a smartphone, therefore filmmaking and storytelling through cinema has also changed.
Okay. Since we are talking about, you just mentioned about storytelling, so I have a question in mind. How do you think storytelling is different in advertising versus storytelling in cinema? Since it's a trend.
Principally, it is the same thing. In advertising, you tell a story under a minute, and in a feature film, you have 90 minutes to tell the story. In my personal opinion, to tell a story successfully in an ad film under a minute or under 30 seconds or under 20 seconds is a much bigger challenge. Yeah, because the ad filmmaker doesn't really have minutes. He or she has seconds.
Definitely. So following up with that question, I wanted to ask, since you're a filmmaker, right? So what sort of films do you enjoy personally?
What sort of films I enjoy making, or what sort of...
making as well as a viewer, what sort of films do you like?
I think the films which I like are films which look at the drama within.
Mm-hmm.
Within the heart, within the mind, within a person's thought processes, not external action. So the challenge will be when somebody is sad, or someone is happy, or someone is anxious, or someone is desirous. How do you show that? And how do you show those emotions without being over dramatic and without losing the interest of the audience as well? That is the challenge.
That is the challenge. And talking about filmmaking, how do you think that, as a filmmaker, how important is it to learn the technical, aspects of filmmaking?
I think it is as important as it is important to use a pencil or a pen, that you need to know how it operates at a basic level. But honestly speaking, filmmaking is not about the technique at all. The technique is a means to an end. It's not an end by itself. So and storytelling requires you to be interested in the life around you, in having an opinion about life around you. If you have an opinion, if you are observant about yourself and the people who surround you and the society that surrounds you, then you are likely to be a storyteller. Not because you know X software and B equipment.
Okay. So, sir, what qualities, you just mentioned the qualities, I mean, technical aspects. So, if aspiring filmmakers who are like interested to make a film, so what all things they should keep in mind while making a film, especially the main pointers they should know while making a film.
I think you should know that you have an audience, which means that at all times you have to keep your audience in mind, and at all times you have to think whether your audience is getting it, whether your audience is interested in the way you are telling the story, and whether you are able to hold on to your audience's interest and intelligence till the end.
Okay, sir. This is my personal favorite question. I want to ask, since OTT has emerged as as a platform where people are more driven to, what do you think is the future of the film theaters? Like people pre-COVID times, they used to go to theaters to watch the movies, and what do you think? How has OTT emerged as the?
I think going to the movies is not going to be the same. Some theaters will survive in a multiplex kind of a situation, but they will not be how the majority views films. The majority will view films through the internet and through other such parallel systems, not through standalone or multiplex theaters. They will become less and less, and in fact they will become high art. They will become more and more expensive to make and more expensive to see.
So as a filmmaker, OTT is a great thing for filmmakers, or traditional?
OTT is the current fad. We don't know what other distribution channels will appear.
Yes.
But yes, OTT is an indication in a certain direction that non-theatrical release will become the most important release.
Okay, perfect, sir. So, in last, I would like to, ask you this. I would seek your advice for the upcoming filmmakers or the students who wish to pursue filmmaking or like to, make films. What message do you want to give them?
Be interested in the life around you. Be interested in people around you. Be interested in the problems your society faces, and just be interested. Because filmmaking is not a skill, it is an attitude.
Thank you so much, sir. It was pleasure, getting to know a lot of things.